Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya if you're new, and today I'm really excited to be sharing with you a color with me in this book called Autumn Coloring. This was a gift sent to me by one of my subscribers, Tamila. Thank you so much. I love the book. I hope you guys enjoy the color with me. I think it's perfect for fall, for autumn. And it was hard to pick a page, but I wanted to pick one of the structures because it's shaped like a house. I thought it would be fun to do one of the pages that is shaped like a house. I thought about doing this one, but in the end, you'll see what I went with. Wanted to mention, I apologize for the lighting. It might be a little different in this video because I filmed a lot of this in the evenings, in the nighttime, because I had like a warm cup of tea and my kids were asleep. So that's kind of when I filmed this color with me. So if you notice the lighting is a little different, that's the reason. But I think it's kind of cozy and warm for autumn, so I still hope you enjoy it. And let's get into it. Okay, so what I'm using mainly in this book is going to be water-based markers. And I think that's going to be fun for you guys to see just a couple of ways of using the water-based markers and how quickly it can go and save you a lot of time and save you a lot of pencil work. So the way that I'm using it is when I need a highlight, I put a little bit on that plate, the ceramic plate, and with a little bit of water, diluting it, and that's how I make a light color for the highlight. So if you look closely to what I'm doing, I am coloring logs right now. It's like a log cabin. So I'm using 3 different colors of water-based marker browns, 3 different browns. I'm using the darkest color on the outer part of the log, then like a medium middle color. And for the lightest color, I put a little bit, and then I also leave white, and I put a little bit of the lightest brown on the plate, and I pick it up with water to dilute it, and that's how I do the center of the log. The center is the lightest part. That's where the highlight is, because that's the part that's closest to you. Generally, the part that's closest to you is lighter, and the part of the element that's further from you is darker. That's how we create the effect of like a rounded log. The middle is closer to us, it's popping out, and that is going to be the lighter part of the log. The part that is further away and not popping out, it's more inside, that is darker. So all I'm doing here is basically, doing a straight line of like that color, the water-based marker. So 3 colors, and I leave white in the center, and then I dilute a little bit of the lightest brown, and I put it in the middle of the log. And that's all I did. Now, if I want to later, I could add pencil on top if I want to make it a little darker, but I don't even think I did. I don't remember because I'm doing the voiceover a little later, but we'll see. But you see how good that looks? It looks like a log, basically. Right now, I am starting on the wooden door, and I'm just using my darkest brown to make those little markings of the wood. And then I also did dark on the edges, and I'm just using a little bit of that light brown in the entire center. So this one's a little bit more straightforward than the logs. I'm doing the same for the wood panels on the top there. You could see I'm using 2 dark browns at the edges, and then I'm adding a little bit of that lighter brown, and kind of similar. In this case, it does look a little more similar to the logs, but I am adding those little wood markings. Now the similar principle I'm applying to the roof. So the roof has like these roof shingles. So I decided to do like a maroon burgundy roof, and I am using 2 different colors of maroon, like in a dark reddish, and I'm putting the darkest part on the top of the shingles, because the top of the shingle is sitting underneath the shingles above it, so there's a shadow in there. And then the part that is coming outwards towards us is going to be lighter. So I'm using the same principle. I'm using two colors there, And then the lighter color, I am gonna put it on the plate, dilute it to make a super light color, and that will be my highlight color on the bottom, because generally, you know, water-based markers, they don't have that many pastels, and you need a light color. So instead of relying on a light color, what's the beauty of the water-based marker is that you can create your own light color. You can create any color just by putting it down on a ceramic plate or something like that, plastic surface, and adding water. And then you can dilute any color, you can mix any color. So that's just what I'm doing there. You can see I created like a lighter maroon / reddish color for the highlight. And in this case, I believe that I did end up going over on top with pencils because I felt like it needed a little bit more sharpness, but you could see what a beautiful base that is. Now I decided to add some acrylic markers up in the mix. So I am doing just straight coloring on part of the house, and because I wanted to use autumn colors, I picked like an olive green color. Those are the Artex acrylic brush pen markers that I showed recently in a review. And I'm just doing some straight coloring on some of the sections of the house to add some more color and some interest. So it's, you know, the doesn't have to be, the entire house has to be the same colors to make it more interesting. Then I took a red and I'm going around all the windows to the window frames and making them red. I thought it would be a nice pop. And again, that's just straight coloring with one of the Artex acrylic markers. And what's nice about the acrylic markers is you can get so much color so quickly. And I actually did end up going on top of this with a little bit of pencil, and just to give a little bit more shading and color variation. But you know, you don't have to. You can just keep it straight coloring. And I always add some straight coloring with acrylic markers in my pages alongside other areas that do have shading and do have pencil work and color variation. So it's a nice complement, you know, and it helps the page go a little bit quicker. Right here I'm adding a little bit of that darker water-based marker to the edge there, dark brown, and I think that really helps the logs kind of pop out. And I believe, yeah, now I'm going to get started on the painted wood panels. So I decided to make it like a cream, beigey kind of color. And so I'm using two different water-based markers. These are Tombos, I think. Maybe one Tombow and then the other one King Art, but two water-based markers here. And I'm doing the darker one on the top, and under it I'm doing a line of the lighter color. So I'm just doing that straight across, and in this case I will be going on top of this with pencil, and it's gonna look great. It's just, this is such an easy, quick base for us underneath our pencil work, and I really only had to do very minimal pencil work on top of this, and it came out really nice. So you can see the two colors there. Then I'm taking the lightest color on the plate, and I'm diluting it with a little bit of water, and then I'm finishing it up the panel. So I hope you can just see that it's pretty straightforward. And I'm actually using the filbert brushes that Tamila sent me as well in my Happy Mail. So you'll be seeing more about that in my future coloring updates. So now I am taking the Ganzi Tambi watercolors, which I don't recommend because if you want to do pencil on top, these are not the best. At the time I thought I wouldn't do pencil on top, that I would just use straight paint. So I used it without thinking, but generally, if you're going to do pencil on top, these are not great for basing. And I did struggle a little bit, but I did do pencil on top of this, but that's okay. So I'm taking the yellow and I'm creating like a warm glow in the rooms. I thought it would be a really fun, cozy thing to do, to put like a yellow glow, warm glow from like a lamp or a candle in the rooms. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm starting with like a darker yellow, and then I'm fading out the yellow. And then I'm doing a little bit of brown at the edges for the darkness of the room. So you could see I did think I would do mostly everything with paint, so I didn't think I would be using pencils, but I did end up wanting to use pencils. So I should have based with a different watercolor, but that's okay. You could still get the gist here. And so I'm doing like the brown on the outside, further away from the glow of the light source, of the lamp or the candle. So depending on where I thought the light source was, so if it was a light bulb on the top of the room, the bottom of the room will have brown, and if depending on where the light source is in the room. Hope I am explaining that good. Now I took some pencils, some of my luminance and I have some dark colors from the Light Fast and the luminance on my desk for my shading. So I'm using those because they're very, very dark to go on top with pencil and create more shading in the roof and create a better look for the shingles there of the roof. So I'm using dark purples, dark maroons, blacks to create even more shading on top of the water-based markers that I already laid down. And you may have seen a Derwent drawing pencil pop in there. I also recently took out my Derwent drawing pencils and put them on my desk in a cup because I realized that I will use them more that way, and also they're beautiful fall colors. So I swatch them in my new swatching system, and I keep them on my desk now along with my luminance, the dark luminances that I have. I don't have that many. And the some Light Fast pencils also. Again, not that many, just some darks. And the other thing that is on my desk are my Caran d'Ache Supercolor watercolor pencils. So anyway, I am adding here the darkness. You could see at the edge is the darkest, and then as it goes out, it is lighter. So I'm just going on top of the water-based marker there to deepen it up and make it look just that much better. I hope you can see how much better it looks once I go on top with a pencil. So let's see. Yeah, just different darks and fading it out basically. And the water-based markers are a great base for pencil on top, like I said. Just speeds things up so much. So you could see, I'm not really doing that much pencil work. I'm just doing a little bit on top. And it would be way more layers if I didn't have a base underneath of the water-based markers. So I'm just finishing up with a little bit of pink there at the bottom at the edge, and just to add a little bit more depth of color. And then I will move on to the next item, which is going to be that green, the olivey green acrylic marker that I did. So now I'm taking some dark greens, excuse my voice, and I'm adding shading on top of the acrylic marker. Even though I did straight coloring, I feel like it looks a little bit better with some shading. So I'm just adding darker on the bottom and creating a little bit of a gradient. So I hope you could see how much better that looks. So again, darker on the bottom, creating a little gradient with some lighter greens on top. And it really helps to make that green pop. So, and I will be doing the same thing with the red, acrylic marker, straight coloring that I did around the windows. I will be going on top with pencil. By the way, if you can hear little voices in the background of my editing, of my voiceover, those are my kids. They're playing in the next room, and so they're a little bit loud, so I apologize for that, but it is what it is. That's how I edit. A lot of times I edit when they're playing in the next room, or I'm editing outside if they're playing in the park, or I'm editing in the car when I'm waiting for them at, if one of their gymnastics classes or something like that. So right now you could see I am coloring the columns there, and I want to create like a rounded edge. So adding shading to both edges of the column, and I'm leaving lighter in the center. That creates an effect of like a round, something round. So yeah, I love how it's looking with the shading. So now I've moved on to the inside of the rooms, the windows, and you can see that I have decided to add pencil on top. So I am struggling a little bit because the Gansey Tambi watercolors kind of leave a plasticky finish. So, but I'm fighting it, and I'm still able to get a little bit of shading on top. That's okay. So what I'm doing is I'm taking browns and I'm doing it only at the edges, away from the light source, and creating that really creates a glow of like a lamp or a candle. And if I decided that there was a lamp at the top of the room, like a light bulb at the top, then the bottom of the room has more shading. But if it's a candle sitting on the table, then the top of the room will have more shading. It just depends supposedly where the light source is. But you can just see I'm creating just a darkness at the edges of all the windows, and that creates like a warm glow inside. So remember, if you want to have anything glowing, doesn't matter what, you need to have something dark right next to it. Right here, I am taking some of the beautiful metallic watercolors that Tamila sent me in the Happy Mail, and I am doing what is it called? Like the panels of the windows? I don't know what it's called, but the metal panels of the windows. I don't know what to call it, but you know what I mean. And I'm covering the black lines with some gel pens. I will show you what those are in the future. I'm testing them out for you guys. So yeah, I love the look of kind of, and I used a darker gel pen, so it kind of creates the effect of like rounded, like anyway. So here I took a lighter color, a corally red, to cover the lines of the windows. And I didn't film this part, but I did end up shading the red. I don't know if you could see. I shaded the red outlines of the windows that I did with acrylic markers. And now I'm covering the lines with the gel pen. So it's the same type of shading that I did with the green acrylic marker, the olive green parts. I just did the same with the red. So now I'm moving on to those panels, the cream colored panels, and I'm taking some lighter beiges and lighter browns to add shading and to create the look of a panel. So with these panels, one is on top of the other, similar to the roof shingles. So I'm doing the darkness on the top, which is supposedly under the panel above it. So there's shading on the top there, and you could see how I'm just creating shading with some beiges, and that really gives it a 3D effect. So, and I just did the rest the exact same way. Now I'm taking some metallic watercolors, and I'm doing the sign there. I'm covering the sign, the cabin retreat, and I'm starting to color the little elements, all the little elements that are left, the vases and the flowers, the pumpkins, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty straightforward, just a little bit of water-based marker or acrylic markers or metallic watercolors, a little bit of shading on top with pencil or fine liners as you saw there, covering some black lines with gel pens. So that's what I'm doing with all the little details there. You can see I'm using some fine liners for shading. And I will let you know what those gel pens are in the future, I promise. I want to do like a video about it. So just using whatever's on my desk. And those little details are small, so I don't spend too much time on them. You know what I mean? The main parts of this illustration are the actual house. So I spent more time on the elements of the house, of the structure. And these little elements inside the window are mostly straight coloring, so, except for maybe the pumpkins. I did add some shading there, but most of it is straight coloring. especially for the smaller elements. The vases, I did add some shading as well. Sorry that little frame was unedited. Now I took out my acrylic markers from Artex and some of my jelly rolls, and I am coloring the leaves, the vase. I think I'm using some watercolor pencils for the vase to create some shading. And I just pull stuff from my coloring cart, whatever is kind of nearby, you know. The teapot, the vase. So right here I am adding a little bit of shading here, you could see, to make that pop. And then I am taking my black Prismacolor and adding a little bit of shading at the edge of each log, like that. And I'm adding shading like this at the edges of the log here, like that. Yeah, so I did decide in the end to go on top of the logs with pencil, even though if you see how it looks without, it's really not bad. I could have left it, just the water-based marker work that I did was fine. But it was just so easy and not a big deal to take my Prismacolors, they're so soft, and to add just that extra amount of shading just to make it, you know, bring it to the next level, just a little bit better. So I decided to do that. I used black at the edges there, and then I used a little bit of my black cherry, or what is it called? Yeah, black cherry color of the Prismacolors to go a little bit on top next to the black and do a little bit of gradient work there. That's the black cherry that you're seeing. So I didn't have to, but I felt like it kind of gave it a little bit of extra for the logs. So, but I hope you can appreciate from this color along how easy it is to use water-based markers as a base. And I'll just let you watch a little bit more of that pencil work. Okay, so the finished page looks like that. And I love how it came out. A lot of fun. I love the shape. My daughter saw this and said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, that is such a cool coloring book." And I want to say a big thank you to my viewer, Tamila, for the wonderful Happy Mail, which you will see in my coloring update. I love the book, and I hope you like the color along, or color with me that I did. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful month of coloring. I hope you're enjoying your fall coloring and enjoying the warm colors. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.